everyone, my name's Paige. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another episode of Plenty Problems with Paige for you. If you'd like to be a part of the next episode, go follow me on Instagram, and basically I will post a photo that looks like this and you will comment and put all your stuff there and I answer the questions for you. Also as well, if my voice sounds raspy or anything like that, past week I have been knocked out with illness, so yeah, that's pretty much it. But let's get right into the questions. First one comes from Charlie Rocket, and she asks, I always forget to breathe when I'm cantering. Do you have any tips for remembering to breathe? I love you, Paige. Thank you very much. I love you too. First things first is obviously you're breathing because you're going to die if you don't breathe. But basically I would say this is more an issue with being tense. So, thanks bird. This is more an issue with being tense. So when you're cantering you become tense, and cantering is something you're not, I feel, 100% comfortable with, because otherwise you would be breathing fine as you do with walk, trot, stop, all that sort of stuff. So my tips on breathing is mentally you need to get yourself into a rhythm of it. If you are having trouble, I would create markers in the arena if you ride in an arena and say every time I pass this corner I'm going to do maybe, I don't know, I'm going to count to 10 breaths and go 1, 2, 3. If you're cantering, a great thing is your horse has a stride, so you can count. You can breathe with their stride, so you can be like 1, 2, 3, 4. But that might get you a bit out of breath, so you can be like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But basically, I don't think it's an issue with the breathing. I think it's an issue because you're super tense with cantering. So my biggest advice would just be canter as much as you possibly can. Make cantering something fun. So maybe go on, like, if you have a canter track or if you have an expanse where you can go for a really big canter, you're obviously going to need to breathe, but something that's going to make you laugh as you canter, because first off, I think we all forget that horse riding is meant to be fun and sometimes people forget that. So go to a situation where you put yourself cantering and you are having so much fun that you're laughing, and that will ultimately make you breathe. If you do some partner work and stuff in canter, that typically makes you laugh. You might want to play tips with some other horses, but doing a lot of exercise that will kind of dull you down and won't make cantering seem like a tense thing. But yeah, it's more a conscious thing. You kind of have to just remind yourself, okay, I need to breathe, I need to take a deep breath. And even if at the beginning as well, when you are cantering, if you are trying to get this breathing pattern in, you can go in intervals. So maybe only canter for like 10 strides, then come back to trot, then canter for 20 strides, then go back to trot, you know what I mean? So you can slowly break up the pattern and move into a frame of mind where cantering isn't such a scary thing. How to improve your riding when you can't ride your horse using a riding diary, goal setting, etc. That's from My Blue Eventer. There are heaps of ways you can improve your riding without riding a horse. When you are you are practicing to improve your riding when you're not around a horse. You are pretty much improving yourself. You're not going to be improving the horse, because obviously you need to be with them to do that. I'm actually going to grab a few books that I think will really help you guys out. 1 second. The first one is How to Think Like a Horse. This is by Sherry Hill. I did a video a few weeks ago called Positive Reinforcement with Horses, and a lot of it was based out of this. Basically, it delves into the way in which horses think, and that is in turn instantly going to make you a better rider, because you better understand them, you better understand how you can work with them. So it's got everything. It's got everything from their senses, so how much they really can hear, how much they really can see, everything about the senses, bonding, their pecking order, communication, subtle body language cues that you might not know about, how the brain actually works and the mental process. But it's basically got heaps of stuff, and I love the illustrations in this book. It makes everything really, really easy to understand, and it's very infographic like, so it makes learning very easy. So that's by Sherry Hill. I would really recommend getting this. This is more if you want to learn how to better understand your horse. Get some sort of like lesson book. I got this ages ago, and it gives me a few ideas for kind of more self-rides and things, so when I'm riding by myself and not in a lesson, things I can work on. But it's got basically, it's pretty much a flat work one. and it just says Riding Masterclass Lessons with the Top 10 Trainers. This is edited by Joe Weeks, it says. But it's got, for example, let's have a look. It's got a whole section here on leg yield, and it's like what happens in a leg yield, and then it says common problems and how to fix them. And then it's got shoulder in. It has, it's got so much stuff. Getting a straight canter, making connection from the end to from the hind to the front. Trusting your horse, keeping your horse listening, being an effective rider. It's got a bunch of stuff, so you could read some books, get kind of informed. And in regards to goal setting, there are heaps of books out there. This one is called Simple Steps to Riding Success, and it says Feel the Power of Positive Riding with NLP Sports Psychology Techniques. This is by Liz Morrison, and basically it talks about how your brain is affecting your riding, and it gives you a bunch of exercises that you can do to kind of improve that. So they're kind of some theory things you could do when you're not riding. Some other stuff you could do as well is, obviously riding a horse requires muscle. So you could do some stretching, you could do some exercises. I know there is a program called Dressage Rider Training. I think I'll leave a link to it in the description box, or I'll get it pop up somewhere on the screen. But that's for dressage riders, but to be honest, the muscles that dressage riders use is, I feel, similar to what most riders will use. Doing a lot of stretching and things like that to kind of build up the muscle, make you a better rider. You can do goal setting as well, like you mentioned, and so set goals. What do you want to achieve this week? What are you going to work on? Write out your lessons, write out your rides. You can do goal setting, you can do theory work, you can look at some books, you can do some physical stretches, you can go to the gym and work on your core. There's so much stuff that you can do to improve your riding without actually being around a horse. Next one, Caitlin Swagger asks, hi, I have a habit of holding my hands on the saddle and riding like a turtle. Any tips for improving my position? So I assume that you mean like this, riding like this, because I kind of look like a turtle. First thing off is you're holding your hands on the saddle. That means you're not confident enough, and it means that you're too scared to really take control of the situation. So the first thing I would get you to do is, even if you have been riding for a long time and this is still an issue, I would pop you on the lunge, and I would try and get you to build your position without the concern of needing to control the horse. So I kind of eliminate that first, so make sure it's just focusing on you, not focusing on the horse. So get someone to lunge you so they can be in complete control and you just focus on yourself. Tips in improving your position. With your hands, you're going to start developing if you're holding your hands on the saddle, you're going to start developing a habit where your hands go out like this. So my biggest thing is turn them so that when you're riding you can almost feel your elbow brushing against your body. Is if you ride with a crop in between your thumbs, that will keep them straight, and you can't actually do this because a crop doesn't bend very easily. So whilst you're riding, hold that crop in there and you can move about but keeping your hands straight. Another tip as well, if you holding onto the saddle has now become a bit of a balance issue too, you can always grab 2 cups of water, hold them, do some sitting trot, do stuff like that, and see if you can really stay as central as possible. I've never actually tried that before. That's something maybe I could do. I've never tried that before, but I've seen a lot of dressage videos and stuff like that, and just videos in general of people riding and testing their balance by doing that. But yeah, I'd say it's more of a confidence thing, and I think you just need to build it up to get rid of you holding onto the saddle. And a little bit of a mental thing too. If that's the only issue that you feel like you can't, if you take off your hands, you're not going to be in control, you're not going to do this sort of stuff, and you kind of get scared, you kind of need to kind of assess your fear and changing your mindset and saying, okay, I need to take control of the situation, because if I'm not even getting involved in the situation, of course it's going to go away that I don't want it to go. So that's a bit of a fear change thing, and I do actually have a video on my channel where I talk about your mindset and what it should be like when you ride, and I will insert that somewhere, but I'll either put it in the description box or somewhere on the screen. But yeah, go watch that and maybe that can help you out too. Yes, Libby asks, both me and my horse haven't jumped at all since we moved barns a couple of months ago. Any ideas on how to get back into it smoothly? Thanks. When you first get on, first things first, you need to get a rhythm. So make sure that when you're cantering, you've got your rhythm, you can adjust your rhythm, etc. Chuck in some canter poles. Canter poles are basically jumps on the ground, pretty much, and they will help you with your striding, seeing your distance, things like that. And having a really long series of canter poles is actually really great because you need to master that first distance, otherwise your canter pulls will stuff up. So you could do some canter pulls to start off with. Also just having a single canter pull on the ground. I know that sounds so easy, but it really isn't. And you could try doing some figure of eights and bending, and that could kind of reintroduce your corners into your jumping. And after that, I'd just say start small, build it back up. I would do really small crossbars. I'd maybe put a bounce in, do grids. I'd just start really small, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and eventually you'll gradually get back up to where you were. Megan asks, when I jump my horse, we go straight to the jump, and at the last minute she swerves a bit to the side, but still jumps it, but not in the middle. But then after the jump she naps either left or right and doesn't continue going straight, so makes jumping courses extremely difficult. Any tips on going straight to a jump and carrying on straight after a jump? She also rushes jumps a lot and over jumps them. Do you have any tips on getting her to calm down and be more collected? Thanks, you're a great rider, by the way. Thank you very much. So Megan, I have this issue with Winston. It's exactly the same. I saw this question and I was like, oh my god, this is my situation that I need to answer for myself. First things first, if you're coming over a jump, you need to figure out which way your horse is napping to. So are they moving over to the left when you go over the jump? Are they moving over to the right? Once you've done that, you need to make doing the wrong thing really hard and make doing the right thing really easy. So what I would do is, if my horse is going to nap out to the left, which is what Winston tends to do, he doesn't nap out to the right, he'll nap out to the left, I will open my right rein. My voice doesn't want to be a voice, I'm sorry. I would open my right rein, hook on my left leg so strong, push it in. It doesn't mean I need to, the first few times I might give a bit of a sharp kick, but it's more that it's hugging him and tensing and pushing pressure on. And when I open my right arm and I'm putting pressure with my left leg, it instantly creates a space that my horse wants to move into this space to get away from the pressure on this side. So that's one thing. So opening the rein to which you want them to go and putting pressure on with your leg on the side that they're napping to. After the jump, it's basically you need to hit a target, you need to get there. It's as simple as that. So for me, for example, whenever I jump on a corner, Winston will tend to nap out one way or another, and usually I have a jump fence. My tip is I want to go all the way, if I'm coming over my jump, I want to go all the way over the jump so that I can actually touch the fence on the other side and then I turn. So I feel like as well, from my experience, it might be the same with you, but it's a bit of a rider thing, and you become lazy and you say, well, it's fine, you know, I'm jumping, that's all I'm really focused about. The straight line afterwards doesn't matter. That happens with me too, but it's really, I feel like if you are a bit sharp with it and you are a bit more direct with what you want, you will tend to get what you want. So yeah, just open outside rein, pressure on your inside leg. Make sure as well, if your horse is moving one way or another, that might mean you're not riding a straight line. So get off your horse, walk your straight line, and check, are you actually riding a straight line? Because that can tend to make a horse sway one way or another, so check that as well. Tips for collecting and not rushing. Again, I would go back to the canter poles. I did have a really long stream of canter poles, and they can't rush through that, otherwise they'll just trample and fall and all that, and make it quite short, so they have to be quite collected and bouncy. But just remember to don't prevent them from rushing so much that they lose their impulsion. There is a difference between obviously rushing and impulsion, but make sure that you don't decline it so much that they eventually don't even want to jump anymore. You can also do as well, if your horse doesn't have an issue with stopping, I would only do this if your horse doesn't have an issue with stopping, but you could always, if you're coming up to your jump, halt a few strides out and keep repeating that exercise, and eventually your horse will anticipate the halt, but you'll be like, hey, we're actually going to jump it, and you'll get a nice stride up to it. You can also do kind of some circling right in front of the jump, so take your straight line, go up to the jump and circle off. Again, only do this if your horse doesn't have an issue with stopping or running out, because that'll make the situation worse. Thank you guys for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you for next week's video. Also as well, I do have a second channel where I'll be posting heaps of videos because school's finally kind of over. So I will be posting a lot of videos on there, so go follow my second channel as well, which I will pop up a card right now. Anyways, guys, bye!